What if World War III has already begun and you are one of the last people alive? No internet, no government, no help, just silence and destruction everywhere. The world you knew is gone. And the worst part, this is only the beginning. It all started with a single mistake. One country launched a missile, another responded, and within minutes, the entire world was at war. Missiles filled the sky, like fire raining from above. Cities disappeared in seconds, millions of lives gone. No warnings, no time to escape, just chaos and total destruction. Within just a few hours, everything collapsed. What once used to be busy cities, full of life, lights, and noise, turned into silent graveyards. Massive skyscrapers that took years to build collapsed in seconds, like they were made of sand. The streets that were once full of people, cars, traffic, voices, were now filled with fire, smoke, and nothing else. The sky slowly turned black, not because of night, but because of thick smoke, ash, and dust rising from every corner of the world. The sun disappeared. Day started to feel like night, and night became even darker, even more terrifying. People tried to call for help, but there was no signal. Phones stopped working. The internet vanished. News channels went silent. No one knew what was happening or who was still alive. Families were separated, some lost forever. And the worst part, no one had time to say goodbye. Explosions kept happening, one after another, each louder than the last, each more destructive than before. Entire countries started disappearing from the map. This was no longer just a war between nations. This was the end of civilization. Humanity was collapsing, and for the first time in history, the world felt completely helpless. This wasn't just destruction, this was extinction in real time. But even in this chaos, some people survived, not because they were stronger, not because they were smarter, but because they were hidden, deep underground, inside bunkers, basements, or behind collapsed buildings. They survived the blast, but surviving the explosion was only the beginning, because now, the real challenge had started. Survival. There was no electricity, no clean water, no food supply. Supermarkets were empty, water sources were contaminated. Every basic need became a luxury. People had to search through ruins just to find something to eat. A single bottle of water became more valuable than gold. Every step outside felt like a death sentence. The air didn't feel right. It was heavy, dusty, and toxic. Every breath felt dangerous. Silence took over the world, but it wasn't peaceful silence. It was the kind of silence that makes you uncomfortable, because you know, something is wrong. People stopped trusting each other. In a world with limited resources, even humans became a threat. Friends turned into strangers, and strangers became enemies. No rules, no law, no system. Just one goal: stay alive. Some people gave up. They couldn't handle the fear, the loneliness, the uncertainty, but others kept going. Not because they had hope, but because they had no choice. Every day was a fight, not against enemies, but against hunger, fear, and time. Because deep inside, everyone knew one thing. This was not temporary. This was the new world. And in this world, only the strongest, or the smartest, would survive. But just when people thought things couldn't get any worse, they were wrong. Because the real danger was invisible. Radiation. You couldn't see it. You couldn't smell it. But it was everywhere. In the air, in the water, on every surface. The world itself had become toxic. At first, people didn't understand what was happening. They thought they were just tired, weak, hungry. But then, the symptoms started getting worse. Constant headaches, burning skin, uncontrollable coughing. Some people couldn't even stand anymore. Their bodies started giving up. Hair began to fall. Skin started to change. And slowly, people began to disappear. Not from explosions, but from something far more terrifying. Something they couldn't fight. Radiation didn't kill instantly. It was slow, painful, and unavoidable. Every breath, every drop of water was silently damaging the body. And the worst part, there was no cure. Some tried to protect themselves, using masks, covering their bodies, staying underground. But it wasn't enough. because radiation finds its way in. Days passed, then weeks, and the world outside started changing. Plants dried up, animals disappeared, nature itself was dying. But not everything died. Some things changed. Strange sightings began to happen. People started talking about figures in the distance, moving differently, standing unnaturally still. Not completely human, but not completely gone either. No one knew if it was real or just fear playing tricks on their minds. But one thing was certain. The world was no longer the same, and stepping outside was no longer just dangerous. It was a risk no one truly understood. For those who survived, there was only one option left. Hide. Underground bunkers became the last safe places on Earth. Thick walls, sealed doors, limited protection from the outside world. At first, it felt like safety. People finally had a place to breathe, to rest, to feel protected. But that feeling didn't last long, because bunkers came with their own problems. Food was limited. Every meal had to be carefully divided, small portions, for a large group of desperate people. Water had to be rationed. Even a single extra sip could mean less for someone else. Oxygen levels slowly started dropping. The air felt heavy, tight, hard to breathe. And then, the real problem began. People living in a closed space with fear, stress, and no escape changes you. Small arguments turned into big fights. Trust started breaking. People became aggressive, paranoid, unstable. Some stopped talking completely. Others couldn't stop talking. Fear took over their minds. Every sound, every movement felt like a threat. Sleep became difficult, and when people did sleep, nightmares followed them. Days and nights lost meaning. There was no sunlight, no sense of time, just darkness and uncertainty. Some people started losing their sanity. They questioned everything, reality, survival, even themselves. And slowly, the bunker stopped feeling like safety. It started feeling like a trap, a place where you wait, not to live, but to slowly break. And deep inside, everyone knew they couldn't stay there forever, because sooner or later, someone would have to go outside again and face whatever the world had become. Sooner or later, the bunker was no longer enough. Food was running out, oxygen was dropping, and fear was growing inside faster than anything outside. They had no choice. Someone had to go out. At first, no one volunteered, because everyone knew stepping outside meant facing the unknown. But in the end, one survivor stepped forward, not because they were brave, but because they understood something important. Staying inside was just a slower death. The bunker door slowly opened. For the first time in days, or maybe weeks, a faint light entered, mixed with a strange green fog. The survivor stepped out, and what they saw was beyond imagination. The world was unrecognizable. The city that once stood tall was now nothing more than broken structures, covered in ash and silence. No sounds of people, no movement, no life, just wind, blowing through empty streets. Every step felt heavy. The air was thick, almost hard to breathe. The sky remained dark, even during the day. It felt like the world itself had given up. Then, something moved, far away, in the fog. At first, it looked like a human, standing still, watching. The survivor froze. Their heart started racing. Is that another survivor? But something didn't feel right. The way it stood, too still, too unnatural. Then suddenly, it moved, not like a normal person, but in a strange, jerky way. More figures started appearing, from the fog, walking slowly, but not normally. Their bodies looked different, distorted, weak, yet somehow still moving. The survivor realized something terrifying. These were not normal humans anymore. Radiation had changed them. Somehow, they were still alive, but not the same. They didn't speak. They didn't react normally. They just watched. And then, they started moving closer. The survivor stepped back, slowly, trying not to make a sound, but it was too late. One of them noticed, and suddenly, everything changed. They started running, fast, aggressive, unpredictable. The survivor turned and ran, through broken streets, over debris, heart pounding louder than footsteps. The world outside was not empty. It was far more dangerous than anyone imagined. And now, there was no turning back. The survivor didn't stop running, until the sounds behind them finally disappeared. Breathing heavily, they hid inside a broken building. Silence returned, but this time, It felt different, not empty, but watched, carefully. They looked outside again, and that's when they saw it. Far in the distance, a place that looked normal. Lights, structures, movement, a city, but not destroyed, standing strong, surrounded by massive walls. It didn't look like the rest of the world. It looked controlled, protected, hope. For the first time, since everything began, there was hope. The survivor slowly moved closer, step by step, avoiding danger, hiding from the things in the fog. As they got closer, details became clearer. Armed guards, standing at the gates, watching everything. No one entered without permission. Inside the walls, people were living, safe, organized, alive. But something felt off. Cameras everywhere, strict control, no freedom. This wasn't just a safe place. It was something else, a controlled system, a new kind of world. The survivor approached the gate, carefully, hope still alive. "Please, let me in." The guards didn't respond. They just looked, cold, emotionless, judging. The survivor waited, heart racing. This was the moment, life or death. After everything they survived, everything they lost, this was their last chance. But deep inside, a question started to grow. Was this place really safe, or just another kind of prison? And outside the walls, in the dark, broken world, something was still watching, waiting.